The 49ers have a crucial Monday Night Football game tonight that could decide some playoff positioning. But of course, we got to talk contract negotiations and contract issues with the 49ers. Not a boring weekend in 49ers world. Newsprint Right Option Podcast. Jason Aponte, hit the music.
Burp. Burp, 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 burp.
We are live. It is a new episode of the Sprint Right Option Podcast. I am Andrew Pasquini, joined as always by Jason Aponte. It is Monday night. The 49ers play a football game in about an hour and 45 minutes. We will be talking about that here in a bit, but obviously the big news from the weekend, the Brandon Ayuk situation's feeling like it's getting to its conclusion some way, somehow, whether it be Brandon Ayuk activated or Brandon Ayuk is gone from the 49ers. Jason, we're going to talk a lot about it, but first, obviously, most importantly, how's your Monday going?
It's going great. More importantly, how was your birthday weekend, buddy? Happy belated birthday again, man. In your Roger Craig 33 year, make sure everybody in the chat wish Andrew Pasquini a happy birthday.
Hey, man, it was a good weekend. I could not think of a better gift than the touchdown Jameis Winston scored yesterday. That, like, for that to happen specifically on my birthday, like, you feel like that's just made up. I didn't even see it when it happened because I was driving out to the Bay Area to go hang out with a bunch of our friends through Twitter. Jordan
Must
Elliott
be nice.
Graciously hosted us, but when I got there, Jordan instantly goes, "Andrew, did you see what Jameis did?" And I go, "No, I've been driving." And he showed me the most Jameis played ever. Jameis, him breaking a tackle en route to that too, like doing the Heisman pose as he said Russell Wilson reminded him of. An amazing play, but yeah, it was a great birthday. 33, man, feel every bit of it, Jason. But it's good. It's good times. I'm very happy. Very good day yesterday, and hoping the weekend closes with the Niners win.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was really cool to see, that you guys all linked up and everything. I wasn't jealous at all. But yeah, this weekend has been really interesting for me. Like I've mentioned before, I've taken on a side gig, covering the Vikings and the Saints, and I want to apologize to 49ers fans. If I ever have felt like this team is tough to cover, is tough to talk about, is tough to discuss, is tough to write about, I apologize, and I want to make sure that I I am so grateful that I get to talk about this team. I am so grateful that I get to watch them play football because I've had to watch the New Orleans Saints and Minnesota Vikings play football, and I can tell you that no matter what, the 49ers are a content machine, but they are a far better product, man. And I think I took it for granted. So I want to apologize to everybody if I ever made it seem like there was ever a time where this team has drained the life out of me or anything of the sort. I love the fact that I get to talk 49ers football with you guys, man. And I have never been more grateful to talk 49ers football.
Obviously, I'm not as entrenched in Vikings content as you are, but I have seen a few Jamarcus Russell comparisons to JJ
Dude,
McCarthy, and that does not feel like a good thing at all. Not a good thing at
dude,
all.
dude. And we'll get into the Brandon Ayuk stuff. That's really, I have thoughts, and I've had thoughts, and I wanted to make sure that I articulate it properly because every day there seems to be something new, that's out, and just throws more curveballs. But um, it's really, really a shame that watching that offense and watching Kevin O'Connell know that they have to throw the football, but he cannot throw the football because one, he's incapable of throwing the football, and two, you are just setting him up to get thrown to the wolves is maddening, and I can't imagine what that is like as a play caller. And it's really, really hard to watch. Kevin O'Connell gets the most out of all of his quarterbacks. I don't know if there is anything for him to get from JJ McCarthy, and that's only after 6 starts. I've watched every single snap of his career so far, and I have very bad news for Vikings fans. He fucking sucks, and he's never going to get any better, and they need to get away from him as fast as they can.
And it sounds like it happens, and there's a potential backup quarterback the 49ers have that could connect us to the Vikings in 49er land. That's an offseason conversation, though, Jason. Let's talk about something that should be an offseason conversation that came up on Friday, and it's been a developing story of sorts over the past few days, and that is obviously the Brandon Ayuk situation. We've been in this feeling lately that maybe we've seen Brandon Ayuk's last snaps as a 49er. That sounds like we're closer to that reality than we are not. Obviously, the big news came out Friday afternoon from Mike Silver and Diana Rossini of The Athletic that the 49ers and Brandon Ayuk appear to be headed for a divorce. That was the word they used, which I think is I don't know why using the term divorce for contract stuff is so funny, but hey, that's the word they chose to use. And there's been a lot that's come of it since. So obviously, we're going to do our best to cover everything. But if you haven't read the Silver Rossini article, really the gist of it is it's likely that Ayuk has played his Alexa got you there.
Always at 6:35 for some reason. I don't know how to turn it off.
Interesting. It's likely that Ayuk has played his last snap with the 49ers. Some in the organization are holding out hope Ayuk can return this season. We'll talk about that here in a second. Ayuk has failed to attend team meetings over the last few months. SF responded by voiding his guarantees for 2026, and more on that specific part because that is what Rossini and Silver reported, that SF responded by voiding contracts for 2026 or guarantees, and Ayuk is not filing a grievance regarding those voids, which is really the most interesting wrench in all this, that Ayuk is not fighting for his money. So that is the first thing that came out. Jason, let's just start with that alone. Let's kind of take this piece by piece. Felt like a Friday news dump, very big Friday news dump to say the least, though, for 49er fans. Where was your first thoughts with at least specifically the Silver Rossini report?
I knew it. I didn't know that it was going to be contract guaranteed, voided. But this shit has been off all year. Mm-hmm. And that's what I consistently have conveyed. This shit smells weird. It doesn't feel right. Nothing about this felt right. And everyone consistently told me, well, it's a year from the surgery. And what? This shit has been off since the beginning. And never doubt my bullshit meter, because it was going off the entire time that this was. First it was, he'll be back in week 6. Hey, we don't know. When the timeline changes, when the GM's saying one thing, when the coach is saying another thing, when it goes from he's been in meetings and been like a coach to he's ghosting meetings. What is going on here? This is absolutely bizarre. And I'm not going to pretend like I knew what was going on, but I knew something was off, and it never felt right. It was never clear like, hey, you know what? He'll just be back. This felt off since the beginning. And I want to start with the timeline. I want to start with the contract negotiations. Contentious. Awful. They have a trade on the table. And Ayuk gets saved by Kyle Shanahan running in and stopping it. Okay, cool. You signed the deal. That felt like a tipping point in which Jed York and Parag said, we're going to let you sign him, but if you don't deliver us a Super Bowl with this team, then we are going to change directions. Well, it was very clear early on the 49ers were not going to be delivering a Super Bowl in 2024. So the whispers start coming out that they have buyer's remorse. Okay, that's out. The injury happens. Okay, now let's fast forward to the combine. John Lynch goes to the podium. I was at the combine, goes to the podium and says younger and cheaper, and says teams have asked about Brandon Ayuk. We are not sitting here and we're not going to turn anything down. Okay, that's weird. That's very weird. And for all the people that say, well, who would trade for Brandon Ayuk? And they were trying to trade for him at the combine before they even knew what his timeline was going to be when his knee was shredded. So there's plenty of teams that are going to trade for him. Okay, let's move forward, right? You get to camp, right? We understand that he's going to go on PUP, but he's in meetings, and he's a wide receiver coach, and he's doing everything right. Oh, okay, cool. Now, let's go a step further. He's not going to be ready for the season. They're saying week 6, week 7. That's when Kyle Shanahan suspects. Brandon Ayuk is out running routes before a football game, and to me, that looks like him trying to show, hey, look at me. I can run routes. I'm still good. Look at me. Now, you get to week 6, nothing. You get to week 7, nothing. You get to week 8, nothing. You get to week 9, nothing. Now here we are. And now this comes out. Now, the part that really makes me feel like this is going to be this way, like them just going in different directions, is Brendan Ayuk doesn't want to fight for any of that money. Why? Because he wants to be able to choose his next team. By the way, congratulations, Brendan Ayuk. You are a Washington Commander. And all of this stuff this timeline is bizarre. Is bizarre. I've never seen a handling of this. Like, the last time a player has had something happen like this with the 49ers is Terrell Owens. When when the trade was supposed to happen, but a fax didn't go through, and that never happened, and then he gets traded to the Eagles. All of this shit, and it is shit, by the way. It's a whirlwind of shit. Sorry that this is long-winded, Andrew. I'm gonna close this
you're
up.
good.
All of this has felt off the entire time. And for all the people that kept telling me, yeah, you're just, doing this for clicks, or you're a conspiracy theorist. If you have a proper bullshit meter, then you don't have to be a conspiracy theorist. It's been bullshit since the beginning. The messaging has been off from Lynch and from Kyle. And Kyle feels like at the press conference when he said, I'm not going to get into that, he doesn't want Brandon Ayuk to leave because he's the one who wanted him to stay, which makes this even weirder. Andrew, we've covered this team for a long time. We've seen everything from the trade up to Jimmy doing workouts and, Trey Lance and, and the emergence of Brock Purdy. We've been through it all. We've been through it all. This has to be by far the strangest thing I've ever dealt with this team, and I still have no firm grasp on what the fuck is going on with this, because that's how weird all of this is, and nobody can sit there with a straight face and tell you that they understand exactly what's going on unless they're the people that are in that building. The real answer is from someone. Brandon Ayuk, John Lynch, Jed York, Parag. Any of you guys have to come out and talk and give the truth, because other than that, it's all a mishmash of misinformation and nonsense. Sorry, Andrew. I had to get that off my chest. I've been holding it in all weekend.
You're good, because there is a lot. And like, I saw the instant reaction of Twitter, people wanting to blame Brandon Ayuk. And I'm not going to sit here and say Brandon Ayuk's blameless. I just don't think a lot of attention's been brought to the Niners side of this and how weird it's been, and how even since he signed the extension, how it feels like every chance they've gotten, like I don't want to bring it back because I thought it was stupid when it happened, but the shorts thing, right? Like the shorts, how he wore the wrong colored shorts and how big that got blown out of proportion. And it just felt like nothing, but the Niners really wanted you to seem like it was a big deal, and they got it out there, and it just, the messaging behind everything has been very anti-Ayuk, and it feels like a lot of this is coming from the 49ers side. Obviously, it's coming from the 49ers side because there's no quotes from the Ayuk. There's nothing from Ayuk on this. It's all anonymous sources, which, like, I don't care about anonymous sources. That's fine. Like, obviously, people need to speak on anonymity. I think that's how you pronounce it. I think I butchered
Anonymity.
Anonymity. Well, we'll run with that one too. Anonymity. It's just such a weird situation, and it's obvious that this is the narrative that the 49ers want to get out there, that he's the one who missed these camps, and he's the one who missed these practices, but then going into a little bit of Saturday before we get into the other part of Friday is Shanahan mentioning multiple times, like, yes, he's confirmed. We would love to have him back, yada, yada, yada. Everything that's come out from Shanahan's side makes it feel like Shanahan does not want to lose Brandon Ayuk. And that's where I go back to, remember, Jason, we talked about it back in March when the report came out that Jed York wants to cut money, cut cash. And we kind of got that feeling that, like, maybe York's meddling a little bit here and there. This feels like a big Jed York stepping in and getting involved with the football decisions. It's very curious that John Lynch hasn't come out and said anything, which I guess maybe not, because I don't know what he's going to say that's been different than what Shanahan has said.
I mean, another word salad? Are you hungry?
Hey man, salad sounds good right now, but exactly, Jason. Like, I don't know what John Lynch can say necessarily to make this go away. It's just very curious that everything that has come out from this so far has obviously been the 49ers perspective on it. And so what that means, I don't know, because it still sounds like they maybe still want him to play. I don't know if we'll see it happen, but then where it gets extra interesting, Jason, because as I said in the Rossini Silver report, where they said Ayuk has failed to attend meetings over the last few months. The 49ers responded by voiding guarantees. Matt Maiocco throws out there, well, no, actually, the 49ers voided the guarantees in training camp. So now maybe adds a little more sense to why Brandon Ayuk has not been showing up, because the guarantees have been voided for 2026, which is a big wrench in this story, because of course Brandon Ayuk's going to be pissed. I mean, obviously it's come out that Ayuk has not filed a grievance against this guarantees being voided and all that stuff, but it makes sense why he hasn't been there. It's something that I think that's been the part that's been nagging me the most, is what could have happened in July in training camp for it to happen. That leads to Saturday, where Shanahan talked. Shanahan confirmed the guarantees were voided. He said a number of things happened in July. He said he's been coaching for 20 years. He's never seen a contract voided. He even threw in the lawyers, and he can't say anything because of lawyers and all that stuff. I think the contract being voided in July is the most interesting part of this, because it doesn't feel like anything super specific could have happened in training camp. There's no way with the plethora of coverage that the Niners get, from the Lombardis to the Cones to the Barrows to the Maioccos, that this contract got voided in July. Nobody said anything about it. And we don't really know the situation. Maybe it was that that Silver and Rossini got the timelines a little off, and he was missing meetings and all that stuff in July. But the way it read to me is Ayuk's been MIA essentially since the start of the season in these trainings, in this stuff. So what happened in July for this to happen? And that's what I am curious, because people are getting very, very angry at Brandon. Well, you got $120 million. You got to follow the contract. Who gave him the $120 million, Jason? Who gave? It's not like he pulled that. It's not like he showed up, said, "Hey, I got 120." The Niners gave him that money, and since the Niners have given him that money, they have seemed to be trying to get that money back, and that's what's very interesting to me, especially with the added wrench that the Niners were this close to trading him to Pittsburgh. If it was that serious, where they were this close to trading him to Pittsburgh, you might as well just trade him to Pittsburgh at that point. Yep. And if all it takes is Kyle Shanahan to be like, no, don't do it, give him the money, then why haven't we just ran with Brandon Ayuk as a Niner for the next 4 years? And so, like, the fact that they gave Ayuk this extension, and the second the ink dried, they had buyer's remorse. It's almost like they've been waiting for an excuse.
Oh, yeah.
And so I want to know what specifically happened in July for this to happen. And I guess the second part of it is, why is it coming out now? Why? Because obviously the Niners want it to come out now. They would not have let it get out if they did not want it to come out now, because if this is something that happened in July, they obviously wanted it to come out now for whatever which reason. And maybe it's their way of putting pressure on Ayuk to try and show up and play. I don't know. There's a lot of I don't knows, Jason, but as we've done this podcast, this is our 6th season now. The Niners really like to give you the I don't knows. And as you've said famously, there is no better content creator than the San Francisco 49ers. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's an accident that it came out at this moment. Why it came out at this moment and why they wanted it to be right now, that I don't know.
Real quick before I say what I have to say, the inactives are out. Eddie Pinheiro, Tatum Batoon, Robert Beal Jr., Jordan James, Jordan Watkins, Connor Colby, Kevin Givens are all inactive for today. Okay. So to your point about this all happening in July, here's my thing. I'm supposed to believe a single fucking word that comes out of Kyle Shanahan or John Lynch's mouth if you can allow us to not know about that happening in July and just pass along information like that didn't happen and the relationship is super contentious? Why are you over here giving us updates about, well, Brandon Ayuk and his injury updates, when you know damn well the relationship has gone completely sour? And it happened in July when you voided his guarantees. So you can look up there and stand up there with a straight face and feed us bullshit after bullshit. So for the people that say, well, you got to listen to them, they're telling the truth. No, they're not. And at worst, they're withholding. So now I am at a point where John Lynch says something, I say bullshit. Kyle Shanahan says something, I say bullshit. Because you have this information since July. You have made it seem like everything was fine and on to, but it's been nothing close to fine.
Yeah.
And the fact that the only reason you're addressing this is because Mike Silver and Diana Rossini went and pulled the Epstein files on this thing and have thrown this out there. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. This organization, I don't want to hear anymore 49ers don't leak. That's bullshit. I don't want to hear anymore they're straight shooters. That's bullshit. All of this has only renewed the fact that I don't believe a word that comes out of these guys' mouths. None of them. None of them are straight shooters. None of them are ever going to tell you the truth. And the real truth is going to be told in whoever writes the book about the Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch era, or if Brandon Ayuk goes on a podcast. We're never going to know what's fully going on. So pardon me if I roll my eyes at any sort of updates. John Lynch is going to go on KMBR, give his word salad, and I'm going to say none of that means anything.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Shanahan is going to say, hey, listen, don't get mad at me. I wanted him to be here. Don't get mad at me. Like basically saying like, hey, it wasn't me. There's something so weird going on with this situation, and nobody is telling the truth. So forgive me if I don't believe a word that comes out of this organization's mouth anywhere, because we'll never get the truth. And don't look me in the face and say, well, Kyle said it and John said it, so you got to believe him. I don't have to believe shit. And I refuse to believe anything moving forward coming out of those guys' mouths, because they have sat there since July with this information and straight face said, hey, everything's going great. Brandon Ayuk's been working out. John Lynch, he's working out by my window. I can see him. No, he hasn't. Liars. All of this stuff has been either withholding or straight up lying. So forgive me if I don't care about what they say anymore, because the truth is out there, X-Files, and it's never going to come to light, unfortunately.
I'm a little different than you on this. This is the first time I've really felt the disconnect between Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch.
Oh, yeah, the messaging is off.
The messaging is very off because we talked about it already. Saturday, Shanahan talked. He confirmed the contract stuff happened in July. But he seemed very much like, we want Ayuk back. We would love to have him back. And that directly contradicts a divorce is coming, and obviously that's what the front office wanted out there. That in the front, and when I say front office, I don't include Kyle Shanahan in the front office. That is Parag Marathe, that is John Lynch, that is Jed York. That is who I consider the front office. But now you have Kyle Shanahan coming out and saying, hey, we would love to have him back. We want to get through it. We want him back on this team. We want to activate him. We want to open his practice window. And that's where this gets really interesting to me, because this feels like the first, I'm not going to say infighting because I don't think it's that deep yet, but this shows the first little, there's some tension between, because every time you seem to see John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan talk about these things, they're always together. It's always, hey, we're on the podium together. It's John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan say this. But now it feels like they're saying different things. And obviously nothing has come out from John Lynch officially. As I said, I'm just using the Silver Rossini article as this is what they said, because I think that's obvious what the front office wants. But you have Shanahan saying that we would love to have Ayuk back. We want to open his practice window. That's the interesting thing. And now you gotta wonder, and this is more speculation on my side of me just kind of reading too far into it, if maybe John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan aren't the pair of the future that we think they are, and maybe one is a little closer to being let go than the other, and
you know who that one is,
and it's sure as hell not going to be the head coach of this football team.
It will not be Kyle.
This team is as talented as it is, despite the multiple front office decisions that have led this team to this position. Like, I don't know, trading 3 first-round picks for a quarterback who played 6 games for this team, drafting Javon Kinlaw instead of going after, other names that could have been drafted, stuff like that. Tristan Wirfs. There's been a lot of the Javon Hargrave. You think Kyle Shanahan gave Javon Hargrave a contract? Like stuff like that. So to me, this is the first really knock in the armor in the Shanahan Lynch. They're going to be together forever.
I will say this about the Javon Hargrave thing. A player that I used to talk to on the team, right? He talked about being in meetings right before games and watching Kyle Shanahan praise that player. And the next year, the 49ers going right out and signing them. And he cited the New York Jets and said all he did was praise Sam Darnold, first day of free agency, Darnold. He cited them facing Quan Alexander right away, early in free agency, Quan Alexander. He cited Jerick McKinnon being, so you get what I'm putting down here, right? When Kyle likes someone from another team, he definitely does influence those decisions. So it almost feels like what York and all of those guys are the checkbook. We trust you to pick the players. Just tell us how much it is. But that's done now because we've given you this leash for so long. We're trying to cut spending, and yet, unfortunately, we haven't won a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And now we are paying through the nose for a wide receiver that we wanted to trade, and we listened to you again against our better judgment, and now there is a little bit of sentiment that Kyle's influence on this roster may be getting pushed away from him because of what it costs to bring in the guys that he wants. And that's the part that, again, this power dynamic is shifting. It's changing. It's a little bit more. It's almost like Jed York and Paraga saying, shut up and coach. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But it's just strange, right? Because Lynch is saying one thing, Kyle's saying another thing. This dynamic has gotten super weird now. Yeah. And it may have reached its breaking point now with this because of the obvious disconnect between the front office and Kyle Shanahan about this. And you're absolutely right, Andrew. If someone's getting fired, it's John Lynch.
Yes.
It's not Kyle Shanahan. No. Let's not, So this is just it's headed in a direction that is so strange. And for all the success that the 49ers have had, there's been so much weirdness and a little bit of dysfunction. And above it all, they found a way to win. At times, this organization has operated like a New York Jets organization. But they win. They win games. They go to Super Bowls. So you can't call them the Jets. But at times they make decisions like bad organizations do. And this is another one. It's so strange, man. I have no grasp on this. All I know is it's weird. People are lying. And we're never going to know the truth. We are just never going to know the truth about this whole thing. And the worst part is, when Kyle has a dominant ex-receiver who can get himself wide open outside of the system, this system and that team have been a top 1-2 offense. Julio Jones in Atlanta, Andre Johnson in Houston, Brandon Ayuk in 2023 when he broke out. Those are the top 3 offenses. Matt Ryan won an MVP that first year. Matt Schaub was actually regarded as one of the better quarterbacks in the league, and he broke records. And now this one with Brandon Ayuk, it's just the functionality of the offense needs an ex-receiver who can get himself open outside of the system. And they had one. And now this thing has gone so far and it's gotten so weird that now, next year, Brandon Ayuk is going to get his wish to go back and play with Deebo Samuel and play with his buddy Jaden Daniels.
And his buddy Jake Moody out in Washington, Jason. But
Christ.
Not so fast, my friend, because yesterday, Jason, on around the NFL, Mike Garafolo of NFL Network said SF has been committed to getting Ayuk healthy and on the field. He's close to being cleared. And then, in his words, just because the guarantees are voided doesn't mean his time in SF is up. Doesn't exactly scream that, Ayuk is definitely staying, but a little bit of contradictions on the Rossini Silva report where it's heading towards a divorce. But Garofolo is saying that just because the guarantees are voided doesn't mean Ayuk's time is up beyond 2025 as well. He mentioned that specifically. So I don't know. I don't know what Garofolo's report means. It's more confusion and more different words out there. But that was also interesting because that wasn't a widely reported thing. It's not like Rappaport threw that out there. They were going around the NFC West right before they talked about it. Was where they were talking about multiple things for a minute. The person before Garofolo was talking about Sam Darnold and whatever he's doing with the Seahawks. And then it was just a casual, little 1 minute hitter. I believe, Jason, you retweeted it. I quote tweeted it as well. So if you want to go find that video, it's the last minute 20 of a 3 minute 30-second video. But Garofolo says just because the guarantees are voided doesn't mean his time with SF is up. And that is interesting.
You know what that is? That is damage control. So I want to ask you this. Andrew Pasquini, you are now Brandon Ayuk, okay? This relationship has gotten so contentious, and they've voided your guarantees. But the 49ers want you to play because they are hoping to showcase you so they can recoup something instead of outright releasing you. If you are Brandon Ayuk and they say you are cleared to play football, do you take another snap for the San Francisco 49ers and risk another injury for a team that you're not going to play for next year in hopes that you can net your franchise that you play for a draft pick when your entire goal is to get released so you can walk to the Washington Commanders and choose your own team?
I'm probably not playing the rest of the season.
Is this the last time that the last snap that Brandon Ayuk is taking with the San Francisco 49ers is going to be the time that his knee blew up against the Kansas City Chiefs? True or false?
I think true at this point, yes.
Yes. Listen to me. That message pisses me off more than anything else too, because now you're insulting our intelligence.
Yes.
Oh, we hope that, Brandon Ayuk will come around to be playing. Why the fuck would he do that at this point? Seriously. Why on earth would he even risk that? When you voided his injury guarantees, he is someone who is going to go out there and risk possible injury. He's already lost the money. He's waiting for his release. And that's it. And we haven't heard the end of this. This isn't going to be something as easy as hey, they're just going to release him, and it's done. No. This is going to get worse before it gets better, but Brandon Ayuk's not taking another snap for the 49ers, and he is just hoping for his release. Anybody who believes that Brandon Ayuk wants to go out there, I'll have to ask you, what's the drug, and how do I get my hands on it?
Yeah.
Why would he do that? And you've already painted yourself in this corner as somebody who's a malcontent and all that. What does it matter if you refuse to go on the field at this point? Yeah. Is that going to be like the straw that broke the camel's back? Everybody, not me, everybody's fed up with you, dude. I don't care because, truthfully, I'm passionate about this more than because, I understand, this is a lightning rod for controversy, all that stuff. But me, I don't get wrapped up in when a player does all this or whatever, because you know why? The San Francisco 49ers have a game in which they have to win, and they are in the middle of a playoff race. And we're discussing a player who's never going to play again for the 49ers. I don't care. I mean, I do care because I've ranted about it for about 20 minutes. But what I'm saying is, there's far bigger fish to fry right now. The 49ers have to win a game in about an hour 15. The 49ers have a chance to make the playoffs. We have many games left to go. So, excuse me if this Brandon Ayuk thing isn't exactly at the forefront. What needs to be at the forefront is this team winning football games, and that's what should matter more than anything. We'll deal with this at the end of the offseason, but there's absolutely no chance that Brandon Ayuk is going to get on that field ever again for the San Francisco 49ers.
And then the last little bit, Jason, before we move on to the Panthers game, Jay Glazer report came out, I believe, also yesterday. Got picked up today, though. It's up to Brandon Ayuk if he wants to continue playing with the 49ers, and that's your point. But Jason, really, what I want to end with, just because I feel like a lot of people are angry at Brandon Ayuk, and again, I don't blame those people for being angry at Brandon Ayuk, but certain point, we need to look at the Niners front office because this is a team that has made a tradition of sloppy contract negotiations where they lowball the players at the start of the negotiation and it causes drama. People seem to forget that Nick Bosa almost missed regular season games. People got mad at Brandon Ayuk for doing a hold in and all his stuff on social media. Nick Bosa almost missed regular season games at the start of the 2023 season. Deebo Samuel also had a very sloppy contract negotiation where we had to wait. We went live, Jason, for an NFL draft where the Niners did not have a first round pick because we were not convinced, but we felt strongly that there was a chance that Deebo Samuel would get traded and the Niners would randomly be on the clock.
Be pretty cool if we had Garrett Wilson.
It would be very cool right now. Think about it. Even go as far as the Jimmy Garoppolo situation, right? Where we're not the Jimmy Garoppolo situation of 2020 where they wanted to get Brady, the situation where Trey Lance was in the building as the presumed week 1 starter, and we go to camp together, Jason, and I take a video of Jimmy Garoppolo throwing on the side, kind of joking around that, oh, Jimmy Garoppolo's here throwing the football. Like, what did that mean? And then the Niners signed him to an extension maybe a month later as the backup quarterback after an entire offseason telling you Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be gone.
And we're trying to trade him.
So I understand the frustration of the Brandon Ayuk situation, but at a certain point, Jason, the Niners front office has to be blamed because they keep putting themselves in this situation. And what I keep going back to is that Deebo Samuel situation. If the Niners front office did not try to force Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk on the same team, and they made the right decision of getting rid of Deebo Samuel instead of giving him that contract extension after a season that he was never going to repeat. Deebo Samuel was never going to have a 2021 season again. Never. It's a once-in-a-lifetime shot.
It was.
You're never going to see that season again. Maybe the Niners make the right decision there and trade him. Maybe they have the money in the bank to get an Ayuk contract done. Maybe in April, maybe in March, maybe in May, whenever it may have been. Doesn't drag out. But the Niners front office invited this drama. They invited this drama year after year after year. And Brandon Ayuk was the first player to really say, that's not going to work with me. I know Bosa waited till the last second to sign his extension, but he still signed his extension, and he was not as social media savvy as, I mean, obviously you don't want to look at Nick Bosa's social medias, but
hey, isn't he a coffee TikToker?
Something like that, man. I don't know, man. Where's he been? Speaking of not showing up to me, I've seen Fred Warner quite a bit on the sideline, Jason, with a broken ankle. I've seen him in press boxes. Haven't seen Nick Bosa anywhere. And if you want to talk about not performing to his contract, Nick Bosa only has 2 more sacks than he had in the season.
I've seen him in the building at least.
We'll get beyond it. We'll get beyond. We don't need to yell about Nick Bosa yet because there's no reason to yell at Nick Bosa. That's just me making stuff up. But we are sitting here talking about Brandon Ayuk. But you got to remember who was the side that prolonged the Deebo negotiations, that prolonged And the only reason that we didn't prolong the Brock Purdy negotiation is because they sold a stake in the team. So, realistically, yes, be mad at Ayuk. I don't blame people for being mad at Ayuk, but we can't sit here and say that the Niners front office is blameless.
I think the 49ers front office has pulled off some very great things. I also think that at times they operate like a fucking dysfunctional organization, and this is one of those times. I think 2 things can be true. The 49ers have won in spite of many poor decisions by the front office. I think that can be true. One other thing I want to say, Ricky Pearsall, buddy, if you're looking for a second contract here with the San Francisco 49ers, I've got some very bad news for you. And you know what else? That's an indictment again on the 49ers, and here's why. You spent the first round pick on Ricky Pearsall, and Tim Kawakami has pretty much said this as well too. This Brandon Ayuk thing is the last time they are going to pay for a wide receiver. So Ricky Pearsall, just prepare yourself. But this is an indictment. First round pick for a wide receiver generally means that's your guy of the future. And for him to not get a second contract because you feel so snake bitten by the Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk situation, big indictment. But hey, I wanted to keep this at 30 minutes. I think we've kind of touched on everything. I'll finish with this, Andrew. This is the strangest thing I've ever seen. I have no grasp on what's going on. Everyone is lying, and nobody's going to tell the truth, and we'll never get the truth. The point is, enough. I think you and I have spent enough time on this because, obviously some other stuff is going to come out, but this 49ers team has to win football games. They are in the throes of a season and in an NFC playoff race. I don't want to hear any more about it. If you're not going to tell us the truth, if you are going to keep lying, if you are going to keep bloviating through the media that you want to showcase all Brandon Ayuk so you can try and recoup something, just stop lying, okay? Someone get in front of the mic and tell us exactly what happened, or shut the fuck up.
I think it's going to get even more interesting, Jason, when the 49ers use the 22nd pick in the 2026 NFL draft on a wide receiver. But that is a conversation for another day. The conversation for right now, though, the San Francisco 49ers, about an hour away from hosting the Carolina Panthers on Monday Night Football, a game that I would argue is a must-win for both sides, as the Carolina Panthers have a chance to be atop the NFC South with a victory today, with the bucket, which, Jason, that face is the perfect face to make about the NFC South. But the 49ers on the other side, they are sitting as the 7th seed in the NFC. They're tied with the Detroit Lions. A loss tonight knocks them out of the playoffs as of right now. According to the NFL.com playoff predictor, the Niners' current playoff odds sit at 79%. If they win, that jumps up to 86%. If they lose, it jumps to 61%. It is the 7-4 49ers versus the 6-5 Carolina Panthers. Jason, let's start with, what do you think of the Carolina Panthers? Because they've been a story. With a win tonight, they have a chance to match their 2023 and 2024 win totals combined. They have 7 wins in the last 2 seasons. A 7th win tonight would match that total. What do you think of the Carolina Panthers?
Andrew Pasquini, I try to be objective. I'm a San Francisco 49ers fan, sure, at heart. I love this team. I always want them to win. But did I sleep through this time in which the Carolina Panthers turned into the Drew Brees New Orleans Saints offense, and now everyone is afraid of this offensive juggernaut? Did I sleep through a time when Bryce Young has turned into Peyton Manning, and this offense is led by Bill Walsh's offense, and they are an unstoppable force? Did I sleep through the Carolina Panthers turning into an offensive juggernaut? Because they're not.
Yeah.
And look, all of this is based off of a 5-quarter game that they had against the Atlanta Falcons, in which they put up 30 points. The Atlanta Falcons suck. They put up 30 points, and Bryce Young broke the record for passing yards in a game by a Panthers quarterback, set by the great Cam Newton, in which it took him 5 quarters to do. And now the Carolina Panthers offense has turned into the greatest offense that I've ever seen in the history of football. I want to point out some things, because I have a hard time understanding why. And if it's because you think that the 49ers defense is that poor, maybe. But I want to point out some things that I think people are forgetting about the Carolina Panthers. Okay? In the last few games, 13 points against the Jets. 9 against the Buffalo Bills. Andy Dalton started. Okay, I'll give you that one. But the Bills' defense is garbage. 16 against the Packers. Okay, the Packers are good on defense. They had a very poor offensive showing in that game. If you played that game 99 other times, the Green Bay Packers win. 7 against the New Orleans Saints, and then 30 against the Atlanta Falcons. And now I'm led to believe that now the Panthers are this unstoppable force. No defense can contain them. You better watch out now, because Bryce Young is Drew Brees. When did we get here? How did we get here? Yeah. There are ways that the Panthers are going to score points. and it's mainly through Ted McMillan. And Ted McMillan, if he gets in the slot, is going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But you're sitting here and telling me that now the Carolina Panthers are this offensive juggernaut who can't be stopped. And by the way, Strawberry, I didn't realize this, but there are Panthers fans. And I put out a tweet yesterday saying there's not a chance that the Panthers are going to take over the NFC South because they're not winning tonight. They're not going to win tonight. And there's so many in the comments. Meet me here after the game. You got me fucked up. You want to play the receipts game with me? I'm going to have all night to cook you guys. How, of all the people that you want to play meet me after the game, the petty king has nothing but time. So, Andrew, of course, I feel like I've been ranting this entire episode. I am not afraid of the Carolina Panthers offense, and the Carolina Panthers defense is worse. So, what on earth are we sitting here being worried about? If you want to be humble, I feel you. If you want to be objective, I get it. But I'm objectively telling you that these numbers that they've been putting up against other teams, 7 points against the New Orleans Saints, you got to be kidding me. Nobody worried about the Panthers offense. The 49ers are about to put up another 30-burger on them. This game is not going to be particularly close, Andrew.
Well, you mentioned really quick, but before I get into my point, you mentioned Andy Dalton 9 points against the Bills, backup quarterback. I just watched Davis Mills hang 22 on him and beat the Bills in Houston. So like that's another like backup quarterback, right? Jason, the one thing I want to focus on is entering week 12, because obviously the Cowboys won yesterday. So technically Carolina's now played 5 teams over 500, but entering week 12, Dallas was 4-5-1, so under 500. So let's keep that in mind. Entering week 12, in their 11 games this season, the Carolina Panthers have played 4 teams over 500.
Yeah.
Okay. 4 of their 11 games. Do you want to know what the results of those games were? Week one against Jacksonville, they lose 26-10. Okay. Week 4 against the Patriots, they lose 42-13. Week 8 against the Bills, they lose 40-9. And then in week 9, they beat the Green Bay Packers 16-13.
And one other thing, keep going.
No, go ahead.
One other thing I want to point out is the 49ers have played far better teams than the Carolina Panthers. The Houston Texans have like the best defense in football. The Los Angeles Rams are, I don't want to say it, but you know, like the 49ers have faced the Seattle Seahawks defense. Like, when did we get to this point when the Carolina Panthers are this unstoppable force that now the 49ers have to be afraid of? Go for it.
Yeah. So in those 4 games, the point differential was -16, -29, -31, +3. That is a -73 point differential in those games. That is a loss margin of 18.25 points. They get blown out by teams over 500. Now the 49ers on the other side, let's pull it back a little bit. Carolina 1-3 against teams over 500. The Niners not doing much better. They're 2-4 against teams over 500. That would be Seattle, Jacksonville, the Rams, Tampa Bay, Houston, because Houston was 5-5 entering this week. That's over 500. And then the Rams game again. The Niners are 2-4 in those games. However, Niners are -36 point differential in those games. So the Niners only lose those games by 6 points on average, which is a 1-possession game, Jason. The 49ers are much more competitive against good teams than the Carolina Panthers are. And I don't know if you know this, Jason. Niners enter today over 500. Carolina enters today over 500. Something's got to give. I am a more firm believer that the 49ers will be able to handle the Carolina Panthers than vice versa, just because of the 49ers offense, plain and simple. Like I wrote NinersNation.com today that, you know, we had our prediction. I don't see a world where the Panthers offense can keep up, let alone outscore the Niners offense, even with the Niners defense in the state it is. And it shouldn't be a surprise. I'm picking the Niners to win this game, Jason. I just don't see a world where the Panthers win. Maybe they surprise me. Maybe Ted McMillan goes off for 200 yards and then destroys the Niners secondary. That is something that I guess could happen in theory because he is a very talented rookie wide receiver. Now, does it happen tonight? I don't know. But if you're just looking at how these teams fare against better competition, Carolina has not been remotely close other than the Green Bay game where they snuck out with a 3-point win. And is Green Bay even that good a competition? They're very tight in every game they play. Where the Niners,
not Sunday.
Yes, they're 2-4. They're whatever. They're 2-4 against teams over 500. But at least they're competitive. I mean, really, the only game that it felt like the Niners were out of their sort against was the Rams. Yes, they got blown out by Houston, and Houston's defense did what they did, but that was still a close game for majority of it. Same with Tampa Bay, close game for majority of it. The only game the Niners that have felt out of sorts is that second Rams game. Anytime outside of Green Bay, Carolina is facing over 500 team, they've just been destroyed, and I think that's what's going to happen tonight.
Yeah, this is going to be a Monday night performance where this is what's going to happen. The 49ers are going to hang 30 on the Panthers. Their defense is going to play better than they've played all season in this game. Well, not all season. I'm saying with this cast of characters. And all of the national media pundits in the morning are going to dick ride, and the high headline is going to be are the 49ers dangerous in the NFC? And but the Panthers are not that good. Yeah. Just because they have a chance to take over the NFC South doesn't mean that the NFC South is good. The Saints, the Falcons, the Bucs are super banged up. And the Panthers. Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm not moved by this, but let's talk about it. Ted McMillan does move into the slot. He's played into the slot. They've been using him a little bit more that way. Jalen Coker is their primary slot guy. They use Leggett and McMillan on the outside, but when they do get McMillan on the inside, that is an advantageous match. It's similar to what Drake London was doing with Atlanta, right? Like that's kind of how they used him. Okay, that's fair. I'm cool with that. Rico Dowdle is taking over this job, but the 49ers run defense is actually very good. It's actually very good. So you're going to put the Panthers in a spot where you want Bryce Young to drop back. That's not a recipe for success for Carolina. Now, let's look on the other side. The only team that has a worse pass rush than the San Francisco 49ers are the Carolina Panthers. The only difference is the Carolina Panthers offensive line is substantially worse than the San Francisco 49ers. And I mean that based on pressure rate. They allow the 49ers, for all of the talk about their offensive line, right, are still at the top of the league, if I'm not mistaken, top 7 in pressure rate allowed. Imagine that. The Falcons, the Panthers are on the other side of the spectrum, all the way on the bottom. Their passing defense gives it up. Their running defense gives it up. The 49ers offense is going to roll tonight. This game isn't going to be particularly close. And when you make Carolina one-dimensional, when Rico Dowdle is not able to run the football, he's had a fantastic season. Yeah. And I did see something about that Atlanta game where he called out the play that was going to score, telling him it was there on a draw play. I mean, on a screenplay. That was pretty cool. But come on, man. Now the Panthers are this like juggernaut on offense because they played 5 quarters of football against the putrid Atlanta Falcons, and now they've scored 30, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 3 times, twice against the Atlanta Falcons. Yes. Just for whatever
once against
that's
the Dallas Cowboys.
And once against the Dallas Cowboys. And that defense is not walking through that door. Like, if they do that again, that's not going to be the same defense. What are we talking about here? And the fact that Panthers fans have been insanely confident. Like, I am going to fire from the clock tower tonight. Because I had to mute that post. Because there were so many Panthers fans. Oh, you better watch out for Bryce the Reaper. Bryce the fucking Reaper? Shut the hell up, man. That is ridiculous. Oh, he leads the league in game-winning drives. Against bum-ass teams? For sure. Good for you. We ain't them. That ain't this. The 49ers are going to hang 30 on them easy. You make them one-dimensional, they're not going to be able to run the football. This game gets easier and easier. The more I leaned into this game, the more I thought about this game, the more I was like, why on earth am I sitting here worried about the Carolina Panthers? Seriously. If you're excited about this 49ers offense and they just dropped 40 on the Arizona Cardinals, they can't do that again against the Carolina Panthers? Stop it. That defense is worse than the 49ers in every aspect. The 49ers are going to whip their ass, man. I'm tired of being humble about this game.
Carolina, you mentioned Carolina scoring 30 or more points. They've done it 3 times this season. I'll go one further. Carolina has 5 games this season where they've scored 21 or more. That was against Arizona, both against the Falcons, Miami, and Dallas, which is 5 not very good defenses.
And Rico Dowdle went crazy in that game against Miami because they can't stop a nosebleed.
They can't stop a nosebleed on the run. But they also have 5 games where they've scored fewer than 14 points. So this offense is just as likely to throw up a stinker as they are to throw up a high-scoring game. And what we've seen from the 49ers this year so far, with Brock Purdy at least, is they can put up points. And like that's where I get lost. It's like, yes, there is a possibility. Like, we're not going to sit here and say 100 out of 100 times the Niners beat the Panthers. That's not how football works. There's always that off chance that Carolina has a night and the Niners don't and all that stuff. It's just when I simulate this game in my brain, I just don't see an outcome where the Carolina Panthers outscore the San Francisco 49ers. Like they could even have a game where they score 21 or more points. The Niners against this defense are going to put up more than 21 points. They might have 21 points by halftime, to be 1,000% honest. That's how good this Niners offense is compared. And we haven't even said the magic words, Jason. We have not said the magic words.
What is it?
Christian McCaffrey revenge game.
Revenge game.
Said those magic words yet.
My boy pulled up dressed like an accountant. Yo, you count your days, Carolina.
Right. So I struggle to believe Carolina is going to be able to outscore this Niners team, even with the state of the Niners defense. I think the only way Carolina wins this game is if Ted McMillan goes off. And as I said, that is fully possible. Ted McMillan's going to have to go off, be the leader of that offense. Rico Dowdle is fine. Like, those are the 2 guys you have to worry about on the Carolina offense. Is Rico Dowdle, because he's had a very solid year. Like I want to give him credit because he kind of felt like he was thrown away by Dallas a couple of years ago. He has had a very solid year. He took the job from Chuba Hubbard. He took the job. And Ted McMillan, those are, and if you don't believe how good Ted McMillan is, from me and Jason saying it, go listen to what the Niners head coach says.
No,
go listen. And speaking of that, what did the Niners have a chance to trade up? Go get Ted McMillan? And yes, they did.
And they absolutely admitted that. Although I just went on a rant about not believing them at all, but John Lynch did admit that he wanted to get up to number 8 because he was afraid about Michael getting there at number 9, which, again, if we're going to talk about dings in the organization, when you paint yourself in a corner where you have to take a defensive lineman, you don't allow yourself to take best player available. I salivate at the thought of Ted McMillan being in this offense and what this offense would look like with him in it.
Let's talk about the Christian McCaffrey slant of this game, Jason. Christian McCaffrey's had 3 of his best games this season. In the last 5 weeks, it's the Atlanta game, it is the Giants game, and it's the Arizona game last week. I thought his game last week was his best game of the season. I know he didn't have the amount of yards he had against Atlanta, but he was consistently ripping those big runs. And it's kind of this back and forth thing of when the Niners play a bad run defense or a good run defense, Christian McCaffrey doesn't play well. When they play a bad run defense, Christian McCaffrey plays well. Carolina's kind of in the middle of the league, but recently they've not been very good. They've allowed 4 yards or more per carry in 4 of the last 5 games. They've allowed a 100-yard rusher in 2 of the last 4 games. That's Bijan Robinson and Jared Cook. They both had more than 100 yards in their games. And Christian McCaffrey, yes, he's had a career low 3.7 yards per attempt this season. But as I said, he's been heating up. Go look at the Giants game. Go look at the Falcons game. Go look at last week where he had a season-high 6.2 yards per attempt on, I think, one of his lowest outputs in terms of carries on the season. So it just kind of goes back to, Jason, the Niners have more firepower on offense. I think the defense, I'm not going to say it's a wash because I think Carolina's defense is worse than what the Niners defense is at this moment. Mm-hmm. But if you want to call it a wash, we can. But then you look at the offense and you say, okay, like just a name off, right? You got Bryce Young versus Brock Purdy. You got Christian McCaffrey versus Rico Dowdle. You have Ricky Pearsall versus Ted McMillan. But then you start going, okay, well, there's Juwan Jennings. Who matches Juwan Jennings on Carolina?
Xavier Legette, who runs routes like he's in molasses.
George Kittle, right? Well, you're really starting to get lost where it's like, okay, who else?
Sanders.
Exactly. So like that's my point is like, if you just go with a guy, a name off where you're just listing names, Carolina stops after 3 guys where the Niners, you can kind of keep, I mean, you would even throw Brian Robinson out there for the Niners.
Yeah.
And I just do not see Carolina handling this Niners offense very well.
Yeah. And look, I know you guys like the shit talking, but do you want actual numbers as to why I also think that the 49ers offense is going to be fine?
Some actual numbers.
Yeah, the 49ers are second in the NFL with a motion rate of 67.8%. The Panthers defense ranks 30th in the NFL against motion. EPA per play, 0.19. For those folks scoring at home, on defense, you want negative EPA, not positive EPA. 30th is the third worst in the NFL. As far as EPA per play on offense and defense, the 49ers EPA is 0.07 per play on offense. The Carolina Panthers defense EPA is 0.07. That's not good.
But Jason, let me ask, defensive is supposed to be negative, right?
Plus is good on offense. Plus is not good on defense. One more thing. Carolina struggles with intermediate throws. The third worst in EPA against intermediate throws at 0.68, combined with an EPA dropback of 0.15, 25th in the NFL. That is any sort of dropback. The 49ers passing game is going to be fine in this one. Oh, by the way, the Carolina Panthers are down starting linebackers. Oh, by the way, Kyle Shanahan's offense attacks linebackers. Oh, by the way, big George Kittle game on the way. Carolina sucks at covering tight ends. Do you see how you start to think about this game more and more? And like you said, you do the simulation in your mind. Where and when does any of this add up to, oh my God, Carolina's got it? Like, if you want to be humble, if you want to say any given Sunday, I'm not mad at you. Me, on the other hand, having dug into them, watched them, I'm not afraid. And neither are the 49ers. And they're going to go out there and stunt on them all game. Their defense is porous. Everywhere that they struggle on defense, the 49ers are very good at on offense. This is going to be a win going away on Monday Night Football. And all of the national media is going to wake up and they're going to say, man, the 49ers are scary. There's somebody that you don't want to play. That offense, I would pump the brakes on that because the Panthers defense is that bad.
I'll go one step further with the Carolina offense as well. We just kind of feel like we're kind of tacking on Carolina right now. But
no, screw that. No. It's been up since all of a sudden I woke up this morning and all those Panthers fans were in my comments. I hope you're here watching. I hope you came and you have that confidence. I was going to let this one go because I counted it as a win, but now you got me fucked up. Tonight is going to be insane after this game in how many receipts I pull and how many people I dunk on because all you had to do was leave me alone. If I was you, I would have left me alone. I am absolutely Petty Pendergrass. Don't play with me. Why would you play with me of all people? Are you dumb?
I like Jason's. I like your rhetorical questions. I love it. It always throws me off every time. I giggle every time. I love it. Carolina is one of 11 teams in the NFL to average fewer than 2 points per drive. They're at 1.86. It's 25th best. Let me just list all these other teams. Cincinnati, not a good offense. They might be a little better in a week here with Joe Burrow coming back and Jamar Chase coming back. So we'll see. Denver, 1.98, not a very good offense. Houston, 1.92, not a very good offense. They scored 26 against the Niners, but that game was more of a Niners offense, couldn't get anything going. And what was that was the time of possession game, right? Where Houston had the ball for like 900 minutes out of the game.
Well, and the 49ers just couldn't get a stop. They couldn't get off the field.
Let me see. I want to look up the time of possession for that. That was the 41-22 to 18-38. So the Niners offense couldn't stay on the field. The Niners defense couldn't get off the field. That's why that happened. Carolina 1.86, Atlanta 1.82. We saw what happened when the Niners played Atlanta. The Vikings, which Jason, I don't know if you've seen the Vikings offense much lately. That's not a very good offense either. 1.75. The Jets 1.68. The Raiders 1.36. The Saints 1.36. The Niners held them to 21 points earlier this season. Again, that 21 points probably not going to be enough to beat the Niners tonight with how good their offense has been of late. Cleveland, not a good offense. The Niners play them next week. We don't.
Oh God, I don't want to talk about it.
Don't look at the weather report, Jason.
Don't look at the weather report in Cleveland. Oh,
Don't
no.
look at the weather report in Cleveland. And Tennessee is last at 1.22. That is 11 not good offenses. Again, I understand there's concerns with the Niners defense, all that stuff. Like I'm not taking that away. I just, again, it kind of goes back to my point. I have a hard time imagining Carolina's offense scoring enough points to outpace the Niners offense. Are you noticing my theme for this episode, Jason? Is yes, the Niners defense is not great, whatever it may be. They're good enough. They'll be fine enough. I have a hard time seeing Carolina outscoring the Niners defense or Niners offense. I apologize.
Yeah, and it's funny. We wanted, we wrote our prediction article, right? And we don't get a chance to look at when KP sends us the link and says, "Hey, make sure you drop your prediction." I don't get to look at what anybody else has put, right? And we all just independently write our stuff, and then KP copies and pastes it. Okay. I want to just go through the Niners Nation staff, and I want to tell you how many points all of us believe the 49ers will score tonight. Andrew, 31. Nick, 34. Jason, 31. Kyle, 31. Rohan, 27. I don't know why he didn't want to get on the 30 burger board, but we're all feeling this. We're all feeling this right now. So if, again, you want to say any given Sunday, you want to give respect to that's fine. But I do think that everybody has kind of just run with this narrative that the Carolina Panthers have turned into the Drew Brees offense of the Saints because they beat up on a shitty Atlanta Falcons team in 5 quarters. Like, seriously, man. Think about this. Think about this. This is how bad the Panthers defense is. Michael Penix left that game with an ACL injury. Drake London left that game with a PCL injury. And the Falcons with Kirk Cousins and that hodgepodge of guys and, Bijan Robinson still dropped 27 on them. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Their defense stinks. How on earth do you surmise on Monday Night Football in front of the world that this 49ers offense, with Ricky Pearsall bound to have more yards than 0 in this game. By the way, his over-under, 40 yards, over. That's an easy one. How do you surmise that a defense that can't cover tight ends will bottle up George Kittle? How do you surmise a defense that is awful against the run will lock up Christian McCaffrey in a revenge game in which the vibe is off the charts? All of this is pointing to an 49ers offensive explosion. It doesn't mean that the 49ers offense will be able to do this week after week, but this week, when they face a defense this bad, 30 points has to be the baseline in this one.
Jason, let me just counter one point you said. You said, I know they say any given Sunday. I got good news for you, pal. It's a Monday.
Any given Monday.
They don't say any given Monday, though. It's a Monday night.
I hate Any Given Sunday, by the way. I think that's one of the best football movies of all time. I'm talking about the saying itself. I hate it because it allows people to duck honest football analysis. Like, say it with your chest. I believe this team is going to win. Don't give me that Any Given Sunday because that's you playing the fence and being like, well, anything can happen. Don't give yourself an out. Say it with your chest. If you believe that team's going to win, then say it. And say it loud. That's it. Like that whole well, anything can happen is waffling. We don't waffle here. Okay? We're telling you right now. 30 points is on the docket.
I'm hungry. I don't want to get that.
40 burgers might be up. I know that we all have been fed word salads. How'd you like a 40 burger on Monday night? I hope you saved room.
Yeah. Listen, this is the game I have the utmost confidence in the 49ers, and I don't see why you wouldn't. Again, I understand seeing the upstart Panthers and seeing they're 6-5 and thinking they're good, and they've had a fine season. Like, I'm not trying to take away what they've done because half of being a good team is winning the games you're supposed to win, and they have beaten teams worse than them, which is what you're supposed to do. But when it comes to facing actual good teams, and I guess Jacksonville's not a good team, they're a fine team, but
Trevor Lawrence stinks.
They got blown out by Jacksonville. They got blown out by New England. They got blown out by Buffalo. they sneak a win against Green Bay. As I said, Green Bay, like they're supposed to be a good team, but you look at how close all their games have been. What was their score yesterday, Jason? I might have missed
Oh
that.
God, that game might have.
Who'd they play?
The Minnesota.
They blew out Minnesota. Obviously,
that game. It doesn't matter what that score said. That game was 100-0.
Yeah,
I can't even fathom how the Minnesota Vikings even scored points in that game. Seriously, and I'm not even joking. I am not even joking. JJ McCarthy is legit playing the worst football I may have ever seen a first-round quarterback ever play in the NFL. Legit. Yeah. I don't understand.
And that includes Marcus Russell.
That includes Marcus Russell. He's right above him. I legit don't understand. Like, I looked it up today, and Justin Jefferson, God bless his heart, is 8th in the NFL in receiving yards. And I have zero idea how that's possible. I have zero idea. When I watch the Minnesota Vikings, whether it's on film or whether it's, during the game, because I have to, obviously it's my new job, I really don't understand. It almost feels like Justin Jefferson has 0 catches every single game. I don't understand. Jordan Addison donutted yesterday. You know why? JJ McCarthy threw for 88 yards. It's almost impossible to do that in today's NFL. Unbelievable how bad that was. So that game was 100-0. Green Bay they did whatever they wanted. They ran the football 42 times. They beat the dog shit out of the Vikings. So, that game was just awful to watch. I have to vent to somebody about this because I write the article and then it goes away, but I still have all of the game film burned in my mind. And if I was a Vikings fan, I wouldn't stand for this shit. No. I would not stand for this.
Part of my take did a blind resume with JJ McCarthy and Jamarcus Russell. I don't mean to make this a JJ McCarthy podcast, but Jason's got to vent about it somewhere, right?
I do. I have to tell somebody, please.
No better place to do it than a 49ers podcast. But through their first 6 games, JJ McCarthy 929 passing yards, Jamarcus Russell 1,051, 6 touchdowns for JJ, 5 touchdowns for Jamarcus. Interceptions, 10 for JJ, 3 for Jamarcus. Sacks, 20 for JJ, 16 for Jamarcus. Passer rating, 57.9 for JJ, 76.9 for Jamarcus. That anytime you are compared to Jamarcus Russell, it's not a good time. Not a good time. And I also, what was the one I sent you? Let me find that tweet I sent to the chat.
Oh yeah, where he ranks. He's just ranked of the 385 court. Yeah, go ahead.
JJ McCarthy ranks 851st out of 852 in EPA per dropback among qualified passers since 2000 per True Media. The only player below JJ McCarthy is Jamarcus Russell. There's that damn name again. Dude, that's what JJ McCarthy's doing lately.
Dude, KOC said that he's in concussion protocol. So am I. From having to watch all of his games. Like I am literally I'm feeling it right now.
Soft benching?
Yeah, well, what, 4 times soft benching? Nick Wagner just tweeted, based on warmups, looks like Nick Martin will continue to get work as Sam linebacker and Spencer Burford is starting at left guard, though he and Ben Bartch would expect to continue to rotate.
There it is. Okay. Yeah, we're slowly getting the updates. We're about 30 minutes away, so maybe
I like this pregame show. Hey, if y'all like this pregame show, give a like on the video, man. Please, man.
We like it. We like it. I'm enjoying it, having a good time. This is why I should start taking Niner primetime games just off of work, so I have the time to do this and really break it down.
Well, you right into it. You got to recover from the birthday boy, man. Like, who goes back to work? Yeah, and Monday Night Football, right? Like someone said this game is going to dictate their mood on Thanksgiving, and while I don't want fans to take it that seriously, I never read a more relatable tweet in my life.
Oh, absolutely.
Just because,
especially with the game coming up on Sunday. Don't look at the weather report.
And here's a hot take. And I've only seen him play one NFL game. And by the way, he did some good things, but he wasn't. Shedeur Sanders is better than JJ McCarthy.
Oh yeah. Has to be.
God.
JJ McCarthy is at a point where like you can say any name. Like, who's the backup? Who's his backup?
Max Brosmer is going to start on Sunday against
Brosmer almost has to be better than JJ McCarthy
because he can't be worse.
There's no way.
I want to find that stat where it says if he dirts the ball every single time that his NFL quarterback rating would actually go up. But
Adrian Martinez
he's better than JJ
has to
McCarthy.
be better than JJ McCarthy.
I want to ask this: what's more damaging to McCarthy's his confidence? Benching him or sending him out there to face the Seattle Seahawks defense? Because that would be an absolute bloodbath.
That who they play Sunday?
That's who they play. Again, covering the Vikings, so I'm already looking forward to that game. If you're hoping the Seattle Seahawks lose, I've got some poor news for 49ers fans. But man, it's what also I've learned a little bit. And yeah, we're done with the Vikings. We can continue. I mean, we got like another 15 minutes and we'll take you up to the game and everything as well too. I kind of found out after doing some digging that the Minnesota Vikings offered Daniel Jones the same exact deal that Indianapolis did to keep him. And he chose Indianapolis because he was like, hey man, I've got a real good chance to take over this Indianapolis team because Anthony Richardson's so bad. And that should have been the first sign that Kevin O'Connell and this organization didn't believe in him and they botched this whole thing. And like you said, Aaron Rodgers wanted to go there and they were like, nah. And just think of it like this. The Minnesota Vikings had Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones in their building last year, kept neither. And now this is going to go down as one of the worst draft picks, the worst decisions. And I wouldn't be shocked if our old friend Kwesi, the general manager, gets fired over it.
Yeah, no, it's not a good situation.
One more thing too, again, because I'm kind of like, I'm over on Vikings Twitter now. Like I'm starting to make my way over there. Do you remember the video of Sean Payton saying, "Oh, I told everybody that we were gonna take JJ McCarthy to make somebody go." What? And then he has like this shit-eating grin. Minnesota youth. So in one breath, Minnesota, they kind of laughed when remember when the Eagles selected Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson?
Yeah.
Right, and they're laughing about that. Well, who's laughing now? Because Sean Payton, I don't know what the Minnesota Vikings did to him, and maybe it's his time with the Saints, but he played y'all, and it just now you're stuck, man. And by the way, if you just send us over Justin Jefferson, we'll gladly send you over Mac Jones, so you can solve that quarterback problem. Done and done. If I was the Minnesota Vikings GM, I would do that.
All right, Jason. We are at about 10 minutes left before we get out of here. Let's get our predictions out. Let's get out of here so people can go get ready for the Monday Night Football game. We honestly, thinking back, we could have done a bit where we did our predictions for week 12, but just picked all the winners from yesterday because like it's Monday night and we knew who won, but that's fine, Jason. We don't need to do that. But the 49ers play the Carolina Panthers here in about 30 minutes. The 49ers, as I'm pulling up the spread, the odds, the 49ers are 7.5 point favorites, over under 47.5. I think that'll be an over as well. I'm hoping for an over. I like overs, Jason.
Are you? I mean, I think
makes them exciting. Wait,
31 and 14, 31 and 40. You got it at 45.
I'm under.
I've got
it.
Math
podcast.
I've got it at 48 even. So I'm saying over.
So we got it. So I'm gonna go 49ers 31, Carolina 14. Again, it really just comes down to I have more trust in the Niners defense than I do Carolina's offense putting up any points. Maybe they get to 20, which gets me to that over, but I just don't see a scenario where Carolina is going to be able to keep up with the Niners offense. You saw a hint of what the Niners offense can look like with Brock Purdy back last week. I know I talked a lot about kind of how they took advantage of some very good field position consistently last week. Hey, man, if Sky Moore starts the game with a 98-yard kickoff return once again, I'm feeling real good about my pick. But I just really do not see Carolina keeping up with this Niners offense, especially with where the Niners defense is in terms of injury. So I'm going Niners 31, Carolina 14.
Fun fact, actually, the 49ers have the best starting field position in the NFL, and Carolina has allowed the worst starting position in the NFL. So there's a Panthers advantage if you think that I'm being biased. 31-17. Again, I just don't see how the Panthers can keep up. You want to make it a shootout? Fine. Respectfully, I'll take the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan in this instance against that defense 10 out of 10 times, twice on Monday. I had to change it from Sunday. Yeah, look, just everything that tilts the 49ers way in this game is there. Low pressure rate from the Carolina Panthers. You know, if Brock Purdy's kept clean in this game, look out. They can't defend intermediate throws or tight ends. George Kittle, look out. Christian McCaffrey is going to be able to run the football. I do think that Brian Robinson is going to be on the field a little bit more as well too. I expect Ricky Pearsall to have far more of an impact in this game. The offense is going to roll in this one. Some things that I would say that I'm wagering on. George Kittle, anytime touchdown. Christian McCaffrey, anytime touchdown. Ted McMillan, anytime touchdown. And over 40.5 for Ricky Pearsall receiving yards. I feel very good, and I feel very safe about those bets. But again, if the 49ers offense can't score more points in this game than the Carolina Panthers defense, we are going to have a far, far bigger discussion. Something that is going to be hellacious and, will probably cause a crash out. But I don't see that happening in this one. So, yeah, the San Francisco 49ers win. They probably give up a garbage time touchdown, which I'm thinking, is to Tet. What I've got my eye on, and I think we've glossed over, Matt Gay's kicking. And apparently he's not good from 50 out.
No.
So, I would say, Kyle Shanahan, this might be your game where your offense is rolling, and there's a 4th down and 2, be aggressive. Go step on their neck.
Yeah.
Don't worry about if you know how you eliminate whether the kicker is going to make kicks. Stop kicking. If your offense is rolling and you have a feel on this game and you're just like, damn, they can't stop anything, and I got the juice right now, step on their neck. Be aggressive. Put the pressure on them. You're the better team. If you're the better team, impose that will. And that's what you can do on offense. So I wouldn't worry about kicking in this game. If you're going to be on 4th and 2, 4th and 1, whatever, you can't get 1 yard, we got a big problem. So Kyle Shanahan, don't go scared tonight. Go out there, let it rip. And go out there and put up 40 on these guys because you know you want to so bad with all the noise and everything as well too. The funniest part is the 49ers offense is going to go out there and roll, and everyone's just going to be like, do we even need Brandon Ayuk? That's how good the 49ers offense is going to be. And if you want to that may just make things louder, but if you want to silence some shit, go out there and do your thing on offense, which I think you can.
All right, Jason, we'll let the people out here a little bit earlier than we planned. We're at an hour 21, which phenomenal episode. We talked a lot. Brandon Ayuk, Niners Panthers preview. Go enjoy your Monday Night Football game, guys. We will be back live, instant reaction right after the game. Whether the Niners win or lose, we will be here breaking it down, talking about it. We hope to see all of you here. If you haven't already, and if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to Jason Aponte's YouTube channel because we will be back live right after the game. There's also other great content that you can catch from Jason Aponte on this YouTube channel. We will see you guys in about 3.5 hours here. Go enjoy Monday Night Football. Jason Aponte, as always.
Let's go Niners. Carolina, hop in this backwood.
Let's go Niners. Bam. Bam.